Last we left our heroes, you stood at the threshold of a magma-lit cavern deep below the surface of Ironhome. This cavern had once been used for ancient funeral rites, but now has become home to an alien denizen born of fire and ooze. As you crept within the chamber proper, you saw its machinations at work. Spires of lava flowed up from the pools below and out through a trio of portal doorways to realms beyond your knowledge. You'd hope to get into position and formulate some kind of plan of attack or disruption. However, your exhausted clumsiness alerted the creature, and before any words could be spoken, the Starwheel revolver's shots echoed off the stone walls, and combat ensued. This creature did not appear threatened at first, lackadaisically approaching your group. However, the sting of magically infused steel and spellcraft sent it into a fury. You watch this creature shift its form, defying laws of gravity, commanding the elements, and tearing the fabric of space-time open in its efforts to see you all suffer. Despite the odds, feeling as though they'd slipped from your favor for good, your barrage of attacks and tenacity to never stay down, nor give up, managed to overwhelm this creature, and as it descended to the magma far below, intending to refuel, as it were, you all rushed to the cavern edge, and with a well-placed chromatic orb, watch the creature burst from within and become one with the lava flow. The portals above shuttered and closed with a slurping pop, and the tendrils of magma returned to their primordial home. In pain, exhausted, overheated, and burned, you stand victorious, but not alone in this chamber. A slow clap echoes throughout, and across the lava field you see an alien creature framed by a grotesque and macabre display. As the last echo of its clap rings out, your minds quake, vibrating uncomfortably as you hear in your mind, "Come, meow, However, before you have a chance to respond to anything or to speak to one another, I want to honor a roll from the end of the last game that I didn't get a chance to kind of explain or get to, made by Enid and by Andy. Not necessarily something you have to act on immediately, but in my interest of getting my cliffhanger out, I skipped over this part, so now I'm going to come back to it. So, Andy, after your spell destroyed the creature, you looked up to see the portals closing, and throughout the fight, your eyes have been constantly casting this way up towards these external portals, and several times you've seen a brilliant field of stars on a black expanse of sky beyond. You can see the tint of purple wisp throughout. However, amongst the stars, you see a shifting mass of black, encompassing and blocking them out. Just as the magma clears and the portal shrinks to a small orb, you see in the heart of this black void a house alight with flame. And Enid, who's currently not here, but I'll share with the rest of the group here anyways. Enid also did a perception check at the end of the game, and with her keen harrowing eyes, when the creature burst and its remains shattered under the chromatic orb, the thunderous energy scattering it asunder, falling into the lava below, her keen eyes managed to spy something more solid fly out from within the creature and land in a cluster of rocky spires above the lava surface, still like down into the cavern, but held above the lava in this kind of cluster of spires. It was small, like the wine bottle sized and shaped, but it caught her eye all the same, as the rest of you were focused in your various points in the fight as it came to a close, and you get this call from across the lava field from this creature. We return to that moment now with another reminder to Augustus and to Crane. Both of you have 2 points of exhaustion. That is a disadvantage on ability checks, and your speed is halved. And I will also remind everyone collectively, still active lava cave, still incredibly, extremely hot in here. Prolonged exposure is going to potentially incur further exhaustion. However, you just went through like kind of a mass heat wave, so you've got a good amount of time before like you risk another round of that. So it's not going to happen within the next couple of minutes, but if you were to linger for more than an hour, you would be exposing yourself for another round of that save. But as we begin and come to you all, what are you doing?
Has Enid told us that she spotted something?
I think I'm going to hold until I give Enid the choice if she joins. And I think I would... I'm going to have her hold on to that moment here, because I think the immediacy of this creature speaking to you would shove that aside.
Okay. Before we start to go across, as spooky as that is, I think I will go to Enid, and knowing she was down, and I'm just going to like put my hands on her and be like, I'm so glad you're okay. And I'm going to put a level 1 cure wounds into her.
Yeah, quickly, how fucked up is everybody again? Enid was super fucked up.
I'm at 15. I just healed Enid for 5. So Kyle, I think... Okay, great. Or sorry, for 10. For 10.
I'm at 15 of 64.
Man, you're low too.
Kev, you're not doing great either, right?
27. Enid was at 7.
Rest.
I'm
fine. What are you at?
Fine. I'm at 38.
Brock, did you say you're at like 7? What are you at?
15.
64.
Okay.
Enid was at 7, is now at 17.
Short rest? Question mark?
As this ominous voice in our heads is like, come closer, my pretties.
Camp supplies. I'm playing Baldur's Gate.
Okay, as I think we should go investigate whatever the hell that thing
Why is he good at a spooky, crazy guy?
Because I think we need to get over there anyways, and I want to know what the heck is going on with all this stuff.
Why should we come talk to you?
Just one sec.
Like, any answers, any assurance would be great. Okay.
Silence.
I'm going to pump another heal into me and another heal into, I was going to say Gord, into Coulson.
If anyone wishes to make a perception check, you're free to see if there's anything else you can learn about this odd creature.
Right where we left off, D&D Beyond. 4 on the dice. It's 12.
You do have disadvantage.
Wait, it's okay. Sorry, 1 second. I misspoke.
Let's get that 1.
It's a 19 instead. Would have been fun.
Yeah.
16.
Okay.
At advantage.
I just got 13 health back. And sorry, I'll just quickly give one to Brock.
Sorry, Brock.
He only got 6 health back.
I can also speak for Enid. Like, Enid, Allie has a 2 and a 1 left. So I think she would give herself some healing.
Heal 6, sorry?
Yeah.
I'm going to have her is it like a first or a second level on herself?
Maybe gives herself a first and then could save a second in case anything really bad happens.
It's 10 points.
I've still saved my third in case we need a revivify or some big heals.
Allie's at 27. A little more comfortable.
Great. I have a first, second, and third left, but I don't have healing. But at least I have some kind of spells available.
On a 16 perception, you can see one important detail. And another kind of point of recognition. You recognize the face of this creature, the shape of this creature, as the one who kind of burst through one of the large ones outside earlier today.
Who gave us a very ominous, creepy warning instead of murdering us.
Yeah. But the thing you notice is it's not in the room.
It looks more like a looking glass mirror or something like that.
Exactly, and with your arcane kind of trained eyes, you can see the frame of body parts that has made up this kind of circular doorway frame is acting precisely like a looking glass, a mirror, a scrying kind of portal. It's not present. It can speak. It can talk. So you're not in immediate physical danger. And based on the way this creature has interacted with you, it doesn't come across as threatening. It's definitely uncomfortable, and threatening in like, I'm not going to kill you now. Threatening. Take that as you will.
And I'm a cat, and I think I want to chase this mouse around for a hot minute. Okay. So sorry, you said it's on the opposite wall, but could we even get there? Because I thought there was a big gap.
Sure is. There's actually there is a path across the stone which you can cross with a couple of checks.
Great. Hey, what about that door? Do we think that there's any other way of getting around? Like around? Is there is there just a path in the middle and it's just like a ledge by itself, or is it like a ledge that looks like it might continue and maybe connect on the way around?
It looks more like if there ever was the kind of erosion of the room as a result of like this activity has eroded anything down to just pure like stone wall. Like there doesn't look like there's any other pathway. It looks like natural stone on left and right. You're welcome to go and check the door or these other passageways that you didn't have a chance to kind of investigate previously. You're welcome to do that. It's up to you guys.
I'm nervous about people who have disadvantage making checks hopping across this shit.
Sure.
I'm good at hopping. I can use my rabbit hop. Well, 15.
Honestly, yeah, without having to make a check, Augustus and Enid won't have that much of an issue. There's really only one check to get across like the largest distance, and they can hop it.
Okay. I can't help anybody. I've used my portents.
I also have Ray to do, 15 feet of teleportation?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go talk to the
it.
creepy guy in the looking glass.
Okay. As you guys begin to make your way out, there is kind of the central first ledge before you have to kind of take a little running jump to cross this first threshold onto another platform. And as soon as you jump onto it, the first one of you to go bravely, it does wobble ever so. Like this is being held up by some level of. You're not really sure, I'll be honest. You're not sure how this is maintaining itself, but none of the platforms fell when the creature fell. So it seems at the very least, somehow it is maintaining this position regardless of this creature. The midway point kind of comes to a decision of choosing which path to go. There's a longer jump to get to more stable ground. There's be one big jump to get across, like a 35 or a 30-foot jump to get across to a stable point where you won't need to jump again. Or there's a 2-jump path, which is like a 10 and 15-foot jump, but 2 different sections. So harder DC, but 1, or lower DC, but 2.
I would say lower DC, but 2.
Yeah, I think so.
Especially at disadvantage for some of us.
You're also free to go ahead and use abilities just preemptively instead of checks if you want to. There's a 10 and a 15-foot jump.
It's definitely been over a minute, so my bless is gone. Yes. Nettie and I also haven't used our Misty Step today, so that could definitely help.
That would clear either of them.
But I worry about Andy. I don't know how much you can jump.
I'm an elf, so I'm light on my feet.
We also have to get back.
Hey, Gord. Colton still has his long ass rope with a sword on it. Can we fucking hold it or something so that if one of us falls, the other can potentially catch him?
The other can
jump one at a time.
No,
you can take the sword part off.
Can you also tie the rope to an arrow and shoot the arrow and then climb across the rope?
Or at least use it for a hand.
Try.
You can certainly try.
Can you katana swing that shit and stick it in a wall? All cool? Or would that fuck up your sword?
Yeah, let's do that.
Your sword is currently magically imbued, so it wouldn't be hurt by normal.
Allie's not here, and she too I normally get to shoot an arrow. So Gord, I keep calling you fucking
Let's do it. We're gonna roll.
Okay, you're gonna shoot an arrow or throw your katana?
Katana rope thing.
Okay, well, your katana rope cannot clear the full gap to get fully across the other side. You could throw it across the right side, which is the longer gap, to get you to the safe platform that is 35 feet across. However, if you miss...
Bye-bye sword.
Okay, we could also just hold the rope so that, if we take turns jumping and everyone else is just, there with the other end of the rope, just in case.
I'll take the short route. I can ray burst across. I can take a bunch of you for 15 feet.
You can just continually ray burst everyone across on the left side because you can do it as everyone in one cluster burst. Cluster burst. It'll just take a little bit more.
The throwing the katana rope.
I'd just make it a straight attack roll.
But you could lose your sword forever in lava.
Yeah.
You saw what happened to Anakin.
And he was never the same again.
Everyone getting a hug around Augustus and Ray. I'll like
Can you
hold
do
Ray to
multiple
my
people
chest.
at a time?
Yeah, I can do as many people as can fit around Ray.
That's cool.
Yes, I think you could only. I guess in theory, honestly, I'm not. This was not intended to be like I'm gonna throw you in the
puzzle.
lava part of this.
We're
This is
scared
not
of
a puzzle.
lava. You made us so scared of lava. This is on you.
Yeah, but then I also gave you 8,000 ways to get across that are totally fine. You have all your abilities that can teleport you and jumping. Half your party has no problem jumping. 2 of your party members literally have an ability to jump things.
We are bunnies.
This is not a trick.
Kevin and I have had bad luck with athletic checks.
You
to
can also
climbing
cast a
shit
spell to
and
get you
jumping.
across with
I know.
I've
absolutely.
never been good at platformers. I respect them, but I'm terrible at them.
I fiery teleport us to the first one and then
Okay.
to the second one if you're okay with that.
Yeah, I'm still gonna make a check. You guys made me do this. This is your fault now. So, because you're teleporting everyone across, and the footing may not be sure where you're setting everyone down the platform,
Sure.
big enough to fit everyone in a nice big cluster. I'm gonna ask for a dexterity saving throw from all parties.
Okay.
Great. At least it's seeing there's not a disadvantage.
Can I add to this?
Got a
10.
4.
A 4.
This is why.
I got a 6, but I'm gonna use before I learn if I fail it. I'm gonna use my
You
use my thing. Oh fuck!
Lucky
Doesn't
footwork?
even matter. Lucky footwork. If this was a 10, would this matter?
A 10 is the DC.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now we're talking. Can you roll for Enid, Kyle?
She rolled a 10.
Oh wow! Good for her.
Oh my god, guys.
I didn't make it. I rolled an 8. I got an 8.
Okay. DeCrane and Andy.
I rolled a 10.
60.
Exactly.
Great. Okay.
On the dice.
And this is
So-
athletic checks, right?
No, this was dexterity saving throw. You are well clear over the
I'll take it.
DC of 10.
Did
However-
Kevin do good enough that someone else doesn't fall in the lava?
2 of you did fail this saving throw. Now, that means that the way you teleported across put you across, but there's not enough room to fit everyone in around the bubble of Ray. So Coulson and Augustus, where you teleport to, the footing crumbles and breaks. You both slip and are falling. I need both of you to either make strength saving throws or have the other 3 members of your party make strength saving throws in your stead to try and catch you.
I'm so weak. I would put it in the faith of the party.
25.
For strength save?
Yeah, I'm +6.
Plus 2. I don't know if that's.
Enid's a +4.
I mean,
Minus
Enid
1.
would try to grab him.
I'll try.
Appreciate it.
Are you going or is Enid going?
Oh, no, Enid would be better.
Enid's
Plus
stronger.
4.
She's a +4. Yeah.
Plus 4, yeah. I thought it was 3, sorry.
Coulson drops, but you catch yourself. You're comfortable, able to pull yourself up with no issues. Elven reflexes very quickly, covering your ass. As Enid rolls a natural 17, +4 is 21. Her lightning rabbit reflexes grab hold of your jacket as you just like almost fall back, like just fully slip back, hands flailing, grabs you, pulls you forward into a bear hug, holds you tight, and you just all shuffle across to the platform across. There's still another jump to make, but it's easy enough to cross. It's literally only 5 feet. You're all able to easily jump across to what becomes another section of proper platform carved stone. This is what looks like there are 2 statues. Looks like an altar or of some kind, some element of religious ceremony would probably occur over here, maybe offerings, or perhaps just an element of the funeral rites. Regardless, in the center where the central altar, offering plate, whatever it would be, now is rubble and replaced by this odd doorway, and you see this creature's head kind of tilted off to the side, watching your foolishness as it just kind of watches you make your way across. Wide smile, too wide, jagged teeth just kind of peeking out from this pallid, lizard-like skin, not quite scaly, but bumpy lizardish skin, large curled horns, and multi-faceted elements of horns. Eyes set very wide on the face, slitted nostrils. You can see a bit about the rest of its body. It doesn't seem to be wearing armor or clothing. It's got natural kind of plate elements to its body, and it has a very kind of lizard-like alien construction. Hooked spines protrude out from multiple limbs, and a kind of elongated body that slips away from sight. Kind of turns, looks at you. As you approach, you seem unprepared, unwitting of the events that transpired before around you. You bear none of the color of your predecessors.
None of the color? Is that what he said?
Yeah. Well, we always look this unwitting.
It should make my role here far easier.
Well,
Right.
it seems like we made easy work of whatever guy was here.
Oh, yes, of course. A pseudo herald of mine.
Just frantically taking notes at everything Kyle said.
Yeah, sorry.
Like,
I can delay this a little bit. Yeah, sorry,
pseudo herald, you said? Well, what do we call you, lizard face?
You need not call me anything. Just know I am a herald of the coming cataclysm. I have sought this realm, and in finding it have called my master to it. When he arrives, he will eat through what resistance and barriers you may forge, then consume this world and all life within it. Such is your fate, you will see.
That doesn't sound good for us. The huge shadow thing in the sky. Portals went up.
What of it?
Is that whatever your master is?
You have seen. Good.
I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good at all, actually. Hey, your master got a name? Anything we should know about what our new world is apparently going to be?
You will find out soon enough, but you are free to call upon the dark hunger whenever you so choose, now that his children have awoken and our call to the stars has been heard.
Have I heard the dark hunger before?
Make a history check.
Good call, good call.
23.
Nice.
It sounds vaguely familiar, but even on a 23, so
I don't
many
study
things could be
other
called
worlds.
dark something,
Yeah.
there's so many things. Dark hunger is not a specific enough thing to get called. But it does just kind of leave a little heavy weight in your stomach as you think that you know something, but you can't call upon it in this moment. But you're not.
Everything about this entire moment is just vision coded, so that's fun.
What do you mean we're not colored like our predecessors? You seen people like us before?
He looks you all up and down.
Well, like you. But better.
Yeah.
Now I fear you have been led astray. Like bait at the end of a string. A pity, a true pity, for those you call master. For I see the potential that you wield. You may not have the color of your predecessors or their power yet. However, your talents and strengths will mean little when this world crumbles and is lost. But you could join us. Your strength will never wane, only grow. And you will see worlds far beyond this. You are more than welcome.
How can you be so sure you're on the winning side?
We learn from our mistakes. Such a thing you and your kind does not.
When you say our predecessors, are we talking like last week? You've been working on this for, a couple centuries.
It has been some time, but my passage of time may be different than yours. Perceptions are so interesting when you come outside of time.
But what about like local lifetimes?
Well,
Gonna
that
get
is
the
something
wild.
you will have to figure out for yourself. It would seem.
Yeah. I'm going to be looking over at DeCrane as they talk about all this crazy shit. And I'm just curious as to what his face is reacting to all this, because he is sometimes a wild card in who he agrees with and who he doesn't.
I'm playing a poker face right now.
Okay.
I'm just taking it in. Not ready to react yet, but something's coming.
Oh,
Oh, great.
You mentioned fate. I've been hearing that a lot lately. We had our fates read and all this stuff. I don't believe in fate. So we're gonna write our own destiny here, not join your creepy, crawly cause.
Free to write whatever you wish. This world's end has already been written, and you with it. When you come to see how you have been used, when the fear of loss grips you tight, and those in power use you as shield to save themselves, come to me, where light itself is too frightened to go, where the world that was falls like ashen rain, where the sins of pride and greed met so cataclysmically. I have long been, and will remain until it is time, to rejoin my master, and you with me.
Right now, so I'm gonna turn to them. I'm gonna pull out my scimitar, and I'm gonna be like, "Did destiny foretell this, or is it only what suits you?"
They look down at you and say,
Destiny is not written by me or mine. He above knows what will come, and it will be for him to decide your fates, and as he has so many times, consume.
I put it back and I just feel like it seems to suit you pretty well.
Because all of this, every time he's talking, and I have my own thoughts about it, but like it seems very like culty or very like reverential of like him with a capital H. Like, does it seem in the way that he's speaking? Are those the vibes we're kind of getting here?
Yeah, I think like cult is certainly like the aspect that you could probably go with like the closest, but I think it is more religious than cult. Like, and that's not so far off. This is a being who believes that this entity, this dark hunger, is powerful enough to, like, speaking about destroying, consuming a world. There is reverence there. There is belief. There's no element of fear or of like mistrust within what he's saying.
But it very much feels like, like religious extremism. Like, yeah. Okay.
Can I make maybe two things? Well, I'll do the first one first. Can I make a perception check for a broken rod or anything like that? Like something that we'd seen before?
Yeah, good.
At disadvantage. They're actually real close to each other. It was a 13 and 14, so that's 21 for me.
Pretty confidently, you look around. There doesn't appear to be the familiar telltale signs of, there was a relatively large arcane sigil circle that was set within, and that seemed to be a part of the whole process. And you don't see the similar rod as Andy is holding, or even half as much as you saw last time. Doesn't appear to be in this position. The side of the room. It kind of is this whole spot here.
My last thing, but you can tell me if this can happen in a little bit instead of doing them back to back. I want to make an insight check to see if he's stalling. Like to try and get a vibe of like, is he trying to get us talking?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's low. That's the same. 14.
Okay. There's an element of gauging you, of reading you as the opposers here. There's an element of, the fighter, know your enemy level of like learning everything it can by engaging in direct social repartee with you. There's no element of like stalling. Like, it's not like it's trying to buy time for itself. It's not threatened in any way by your presence or by what you've done here. It's literally more trying to just learn about you than anything. And it's happy to divulge what it's happy. Like, it's not like it's trying to couch anything in mysticism or weirdness. It's been pretty straightforward with what it's planning.
It's been very confident. Yeah.
Maybe it hasn't said specific elements, but like hasn't really dodged that much. Like, I think even like that 14 is enough to even give like its answer about how long it's been here. Its perception of time is different than you. It's literally like a biological, like mental difference because it's a different creature. And I think collectively, DeCrane, Andy, and Augustus, and Enid, I think, unfortunately Coulson being kind of the odd man out here, you guys are collectively comfortable, able to ascertain that this is like an aberrant creature. This is an aberration of, what is the D&D equivalent of an alien creature. And DeCrane, probably more than anyone, you can guarantee this is a creature not from this dimension.
Is there, when he mentioned, sorry, Kevin, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I wouldn't say anything about that, or I wouldn't let that on.
When he mentioned, and going forward, I guess, you're like your masters and all that. I'm holding that rod pretty standardly. Has he like clocked it? Does he like think anything of it? And that there was one of these before? I'm not good at insight. Okay, I'm not good at insight, but that was a 17 on the dice. I think.
There we go. Come on now.
It's a negative though. -1. 16.
I think the best you gather is while talking, and especially when you spoke first to it, it clocked obviously you, and then looked at it, and you see it lingers for a moment before it look back to you. I don't think you see any kind of wave of recognition or anything, but it certainly clocked it, and it took a beat to see that. And maybe there is that recognition, but I don't think you're strong enough in your insight. That's a decent roll. This creature's physiology, its makeup,
its face is
not giving anything very much away. Clearly, it didn't seem to make anything specific. It's not like it was longing for it, or even like it even intended to look specifically to do anything towards it, anything like that. Nothing obvious, overt.
Do they know about space in the D&D universe?
Not in
from space, or is that a weird question?
So that's why I was kind of getting at about the aberrant elements. Is Coulson, I don't think, has ever had any. This is the first encounter. This whole thing in Brunderkiln is the first time you've ever faced anything that was not terrestrial. That was not something that was mundane and normal. The most that you would face, marauders, bandits, human issues, humanoid issues. Maybe some, you would have certainly been involved, or at least heard tales of giants in ancient days, dragons in ancient days, but nothing of that in relatively recent history. So this creature is something that even outside of the stories that you've heard. So I think by and large, in the grand scheme of population of Vigil and of D&D, aberrations, aliens, and celestial anything in space is not a common known thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but
the struggle I find with D&D sometimes is you come at it with your own life of thinking, and then if you're trying to play the character, you're would they even know what a solar system is or anything like that? So this is just unbelievable to them, right? It's if we saw a ghost or something in real life. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, to Coulson, this is something that is completely beyond. This is a nightmare creature come to life in front of you. To the rest of you, still a nightmare, but one that you're already aware of. One that you have inklings of. Obviously, you've been on this kind of track for a minute, but your knowledge has expanded beyond the terrestrial. Specifically, at least half your party is well aware of things beyond this plane. And having the Harrowings having elements of the Feywild and this kind of mysterious other world that is parallel. You're all kind of vaguely familiar with this other world element, so it's not so groundbreaking as it would be to Coulson.
What do you call the little inky guys that we've seen all over the place? Do you have a name for them? You're a herald. That was a pseudo herald.
I simply call them my brethren. Spawn of the Dark Hunger.
Spawn.
Well, I mean, I can't say that we'll have an answer on you offer of becoming part of whatever Dark Hunger's new world right off the hop. But if you said to come back to you, how on earth would we do that?
I have told you where to find me. Where the light itself is too frightened to go. Where the world that was falls like ashen rain. There I will be, and there I have been. This world has evaded my master's sight for too long, but finally his vengeance will be slaked. And let me speak plain to you. This is not a fight. This is the fated end of your world. Delayed, but conclusion to events long written. You are free to come and join. Spare yourselves. But I give no illusions, no expectations. That you should expect anything other than death.
Then why are we having this conversation? I look around to everyone else and just see if everyone says
I assumed perhaps you may favor your lives and wish to come with and avoid death. But if you favor death, then we are concluded. Go now. Spread word of my master's imminence. Muster armies of battles. Their fear, bloodthirst, only make them more succulent. As I said, this world's end has long been written. The final climactic pages penned, forced to be shelved for some time. But finally, the final pages are turning. When this chapter closes, blank pages will follow. You may fight and live to see those final words, but you will end all the same. You may join us instead, and the book need not end here. He will always need more. There is no end to the dark hunger.
This portal thing, or the looking glass, is it fair to say that it's like held together by whatever the fuck these body parts are all around it? Or is this thing existing on its own, or like from magical means from the other side?
The way you're looking at it is like this was a ritual element. So the body parts were a ritual element to summon the portal. They are kind of housing it, so to speak. But regardless, I had to pause it because my throat was going to die. But with those final words uttered and your seeming dismissal, you hear that alien screeching laced with dark magic incantation utter from within it. Not even through its mouth, just like uttering out from it like waves of sonic energy. The light of the cavern dims. The earth rumbles around you and color seems to drain, and rubble scatters and drips and drops fall from above, landing all around you that you don't even hear it. It is dully muted around you. Sound closes in very tight. Color again drains. But beyond this cavern, through the mute, you can hear the squeal and screech of the force above that has overtaken Brunderkiln. They are not pained cries, but triumphant. As quickly as it all came on for you, the creature, the portal, and with a kind of dark smile, swallowed by black smoke and swirling fog, and you see just the stone wall behind it. The rumbling stops, and all seems to return to normal.
For clarification, the triumphant cheer was like our interpretation of those scary things making a noise that's triumphant.
It sounded more like, like you could determine like it was just like the alien like roaring screech, but it didn't sound like pain. It sounded more like celebratory, triumphant.
I wanted to make sure there wasn't like the humans, they're all gone and they celebrated from above. This was still a spooky bad thing. Yeah. I'm like blowing the smoke and fog away.
Well, that sounds terrible.
That was bad. Yeah, that was bad.
We still need to do this rod thing, and then we need to get the heck out of here.
Yeah, yeah, we do. We gotta figure out where that is. Okay, yeah, from last time, she's just like running through every step of everything she's seen in her vision so far, and is having a really hard time thinking straight.
As you guys are now moving past this moment, you take a couple of minutes to decompress and catch your breath a little bit. It is again returning to that heat, but you're not at the stage of needing to make another save. I will remind a couple things of this room specifically before you begin to branch out. There was a door that you found on the way in that just kind of ended up getting passed up. In the chamber below is the what's the name of the shape? Dodecahedron. What did I?
Oh yeah, you said it.
I said it like an octahedron, probably.
Yeah,
it's an 8-sided
like
kind of thing.
Yeah.
An 8-sided prism, like a D8. that is still below. If you wanted to get close to that and take a look at anything there, that is still there. And at this point, Enid does present that she saw something fly out of the creature, and kind of, points down to the cluster of spires of rock, kind of in the same area as the octahedron shape, but not directly beside. So there are a handful of things still within here that you know of to look for, and then of course is seeking out where the divining rod spot is as well.
I would say I want to look at that thing that came out of the spooky monster that Nettie saw.
I mean, yeah. I can get down there, or I can get someone down there.
Or could you, catapult it up to us?
It's going to be too far. It's
What's your range of catapult?
90.
No,
it's close to 9. I thought it was hundreds of feet down for some reason.
Not hundreds.
Okay.
No. I think to the lava was 120 was what he was trying to get to around that region. And this is a spire, a cluster of spires, stalagmites or stalactites. I can't remember which one's up and down.
Stalagmite, stalactite.
So stalagmite cluster that is kind of risen up 30, 40 feet from the surface. So, and the tough part for you is going to be seeing it at this distance without having seen it originally. So you have to make a perception check to see if you can spot the thing. You have advantage already, and Enid is going to kind of guide. So starting there, if you wanted to try and go about this.
How far down is that chain holding the D8 in place?
So that would be at about the 120, because that is going to be still half submerged in the lava, and then the upper half, and it's pretty massive. So there's a good portion that is out. 100 feet down would be the tip, and that's still 20 feet of this thing before it's submerged further. So it's a 40, 50 foot tall structure, 20 feet at its point at its sides, relatively large.
It's going to be really hot down there, right? So it'd likely be con saves for... Okay, so I'm just going to talk out loud at it.
You guys have kind of acclimated so far. It'd be about length of exposure.
Okay. If we have to do this ritual again, we're going to need to take a short rest, because last time the weird ghost shit that came out of it beat the shit out of all of us. And Kyle was like, I don't know why you didn't rest first. So we're going to at least need to take a short rest before that.
It's just not our way. It's not our way.
I'm trying to remember what kind of checks I had to make. I'm pretty sure they were checks, not saves. So I can't get... I can't get exhaustion. It's going to fuck me. I don't have it so far. I could, in theory, get someone or myself down there to look at the little magic shit on the thing. My concern is I might be the best one to make an Arcana check down there if that's what it is, or a history check. But I really can't get exhausted because it's going to fuck us over.
What I'm saying about the exhaustion is because you've acclimated already to the heat. If you spent another hour in this room, then you're looking at another check. Getting closer to the lava doesn't make a huge enough difference in exposure to the extreme heat. You're already in a fucking chamber full of lava.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll blow a third.
But if you took a short rest in here, now we're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we'd be dicey.
So we also Well, okay, well, yeah, fine. Let's just try something new. Sod it. I'll try to get from Enid a pretty good idea first, because I don't know how long this is going to last. Where I'm going, where the thing on the spire is.
So perception check first, at advantage.
Come on, Andy. Make a sprout.
12.
You have the cluster that it's at.
Okay. From here.
You don't see it in amongst the cluster because you're not even sure exactly, because she doesn't give enough of a description of what it was. She saw a thing fly out of a thing, and it's in this cluster of rocks. You just see a bunch of rock.
Okay, well, that answers my options. Yeah, I'll just do it on myself. Fuck it. Okay. Should we get over to the other side generally? Don't worry about getting me there.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
For safety's sake, we could easily say Enid burns a misty step and crosses the risk easy enough. Her free use a day.
Great. And then if Ray can get everyone else across.
Yeah.
Easy enough.
It's concentration. Okay. I'll cast fly on myself.
Ooh, I wondered what it was. This is sick.
And I'll start with the weird cluster of
Sure.
fire.
Wait. What does this look like? What happens with fly with you?
I think because it's not super dark in here, right?
It's incredibly light. There's a bunch of lava.
You don't see a whole lot. You'd probably see more if it was dark. But I think there's just like a kind of like almost mirage-y shadow of like proper long wings that almost like glitter a little bit like starlight, and in like the right light almost have like an oil slick sheen, but like color of think like the red blue galaxy kind of colors, or like an aurora, like kind of that kind of feeling, but it's really faint. Like in the bright light you probably wouldn't see it very much.
I love it.
Yeah, we'll start with the little clusters that Enid pointed out.
Okay. You take to the air, free floating and flying, and loosing yourself from gravity's control, and descend down into the lava, and suddenly feel yourself completely autonomous and piloted of your own intelligence and will. Easily enough, you find your way to the cluster. I need an investigation check. Relatively low DC, given the fact that you've been pointed in the right direction. There's only so many spots the thing can be. 17. Yeah. Within like 20, 30 seconds of you kind of like circling this thing, you can see there's a couple of different like kind of flatter, slightly more leveled spaces within the stalagmites. And there's lots of element of broken rock that is of the same color consistency of the rest of the stalagmites you see here. However, there is a kind of wine bottle is the best descriptor for like the shape. It's kind of a longer, a little bit more cylindrical, but it is still jagged like rock. However, you can see there is this longer, elongated, partially crystal, partially stone piece. It's the best you can get. You get closer and can see. Give me an Arcana check. We'll start there.
Not very good. 10.
The best you can the best you can gather is it looks like a piece of blackened crystal. Actually, no, it doesn't look like blackened crystal. It looks like clear crystal with a blackened core. But the exterior on most of the sides, you're only seeing little elements of the crystal, is like calcified or petrified like stone element around it. It's odd. You have no idea anything more about it, but it's clearly the only odd thing here, so it must be the thing that came out of the creature.
Okay, well, I'm going to wrap my hand in some chunk of cloth so I don't touch this with a raw hand.
You got lots of that. Easy enough.
Yeah, and try to pick it up.
Sure.
By the neck.
And then were you going to look at the octahedron while you're flying around?
I think so. I think she'd really not want to, but curiosity. That's her.
You fly around and keeping a good distance, ducking beneath the superheated chain that is on four corners of this thing, flying up and around it, making sure not to touch it, get too close. When you get to the edges of the structure, you can first of all see they don't look superheated. It doesn't have the classic indications of superheated metal. If anything, it looks cool. It's like almost steaming against the heat. The opposite. It is weirdly super cool. And you even put your hand close, not touching, but close, and you can feel cool air at the exterior. Almost there's a tingle of magical energy there, faint but notable. Across it, you see all manner of rune and sigil inscription etched within the stone in intrinsic patterns and crossed lines. It seemed like a series of concentric lines of arcane incantation and etching. You can make a check about that if you wish. And there's a secondary as you just kind of keep floating around. There is one of the faces that is burst outwards that you can kind of, as you kind of float over and past, you can look down within. Is incredibly dark within, but with the light of the room managing, as you kind of come up and over to look down, you see nothing inside. It is an empty interior, save the floor is covered in what looks like pure white sand.
Okay.
I don't like this.
Yeah, no, it's all creepy. Okay, I'll roll for the runes and such.
I will give you
whatever it was.
advantage on this check.
This is really reminding me of that part.
Don't know if I need it, but
They're like, "Oh, we can breathe," and they just take all their helmets off. I'm like,
What are we doing?
I dump in my mouth.
Keep those on.
I got the two extremes. I got a 2 and a 19 on the dice.
Okay.
And it's an Arcana.
Yep.
26.
The advantage given based on the reading you've done previously of the book that you have pulled from the watchtower of the Watchers, the book of now I can't remember the name of it, but it was about something in binding, wards and binding, something like that. The words and sigils here you read are abjurative. They are protective, and you're seeing similar elements to the elements of like the protection from good and evil spell that you've learned, elements of what the book you were reading about reflected here. There's not a direct translation, but you can see a direct similarity in that those who crafted this containment unit thing have also been a part of this knowledge of the Watchers of this book that you have. And you can, given enough time, I'm sure you could find actual translation from rune to rune. But without wanting to spend too much time doing that, and certainly not having the flight time to do that, you're not going to have a direct translation. But with a 26, you can make the connection confidently that this is somehow related to the Watchers and this idea of binding and the hell is the name of the book?
Laws of Preclusion and Exile?
Yes.
Good job.
The Laws of Preclusion and Exile, very specifically tied to this.
And there's also Eritology of the Redeemer?
Mm-hmm. That was more of a
I've read that
tenet
one yet.
of the Watcher.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's more of like a religious text.
Commandments. Okay. I'm going to get the fuck out of here.
Cool. In this time that Andy has been investigating here, is there anything the four of you wanted to do back in the chamber before?
Could we check out that one door that we never got to?
Yeah, on the left side of the chamber, kind of initially, there is an archway that DeCrane had been using basically as his hidey hole, expertly keeping himself protected and shooting away the bad guy. However, at the end of this 10-15 foot hallway, there is a little bit more intricately looking stone door. Lined channels are cut within the face top to bottom. In the center sits an intricately carved locking mechanism that looks like a disc of stone with a series of grooves carved within sharp angular lines. It seems like there are a series of discs to almost line in the right correct order and with the correct sequence unlock.
Can we try and do that?
You're more than welcome to. Yeah.
It's a puzzle. Who's ready to spend an hour and a half doing this? Let's go.
I just wonder what skill. Who would be best at this, Kyle?
So,
The tenant puzzle?
you are able to. I'm allowed to do this in multiple ways. However, which way you choose, you have to do for all three because you have to make 3 successful checks. You can either use intelligence, wisdom, or dexterity. And it's all about how, like, you're solving the puzzle with intelligence, wisdom, like listening for the clicks, dexterity, just being dexterous enough to kind of vault, pick your way through and feel the intricacy of the stone. But you have to use the same skill 3 times successively in a row.
So, Coulson, DeCrane and I have disadvantage on checks because we're exhausted. You might be the best at this because you got a high. Do you have a high dex?
+2. Intelligence +1.
Oh, you're a
Yeah, he's
strength fighter.
He's a strength fighter.
He still might be like, so DeCrane, what's yours? +4? +3?
Are you talking about strength?
Dex, actually.
Dex or
Just,
wisdom?
Dex is 4, wisdom 3.
I have a +5 in wisdom, but this would just be with disadvantage, right?
So DeCrane.
So we can
Enid
either
has
try.
a +3 to both. She's not here, but
And she didn't get exhausted.
she's fine. She's just not here.
What do you think about it, Kyle? Should we have her do it even though she's not here?
Dark vision, 60 feet. I don't know if that is good for anything.
I'm fine to roll for Enid to do it. It seems like a thing Enid would do. Like it's just never fun if the person
Well,
is
then,
not
yeah.
here.
I mean, we could use her stats. What if you 3
It's
each
just a
roll a
+3.
dice? If it's 3 checks, each of you roll a dice and see what happens.
I love that idea, Leah. That's great.
I mean more about the fact that it's a character.
I know.
Not choosing for that, but it doesn't matter. It's what would
Comes
happen.
back, like, so you lost your arm. Good news.
Wow, it sucked.
So the 3 of you who are here, just go ahead and roll me a d20. We're going to add 3 to it.
Okay.
We're gonna go in the order that I see you visually. So we're gonna go in this order: Scott, Brock, Kevin. So a 13 on the second.
You wanted me first?
Yes, please.
Does a 5 do it?
Oh my god.
That's not gonna succeed. So we don't need Kevin yet. So
This campaign, the dice hate me so much.
Scott has not rolled well this entire campaign.
I rolled so well to end the last campaign.
Use the act.
No, that's true. You used all of your luck rolling spoilers for campaign 1. 2 of the
Insane
most
stuff.
insane rolls that we've ever had at the end of a campaign on
Used my
D100.
emoji.
Just wild.
I'll still take that. I'm still happy with it. I'll be cursed forever for that ending. Did Enid lose her arm for our sins?
not yet. So she goes to start this, and as she's kind of feeling along, she feels along and hits a point and pushes in, like thinking like, okay, I got it. Click. And it clicks, but directly beneath, a burst of poisonous gas billows out and fills the entire corridor. I need everyone to make Constitution saving throws.
Fuck.
I'm not there.
Not you. You're safe. Constitution saving throws against poison, please.
Okay. 18.
6.
18 for Allie as well.
18.
And 18 for Kev.
Oh my
Wow.
god. Great.
Okay, so Coulson, you take a full 16 points of poison damage. The rest
Damn.
of us take 8.
Oh man.
Good thing you got healed.
16 to Coulson, yeah.
Thank God for those extra 8 hit points.
Got 5 health left.
You guys, this burning poisonous gas, this kind of yellowy gas lingers and burns. You all rush out of the corridor, coughing and sputtering and puking. And you notice the gas is just lingering and staying in the corridor as you get it out of your systems.
Can I do fighting spirit?
Sure.
That's a
You
good
can get
idea.
How long do your
5
temp
HP.
points last?
I think they just last.
So they're gone?
They're gone.
It
Forever.
says you give yourself 5 temporary.
Yeah.
I'm fighting off the poison.
a minute passes and the gas does dissipate before Andy returns. Andy will take longer than like 2 or 3 minutes here, so you guys have as the gas dissipates, you're feeling a little bit better. Are you going to try
What in
again?
the waste happened all year? How did you manage that one?
We tried to do the door and it didn't work.
Yeah, you don't look great.
Do you want to try and open the door and we can wait in the hall?
Yeah, I can.
We tried. It didn't go great.
Okay. Yeah, okay, I'll take a look.
I sneeze out some poison gas.
Well,
Ugh,
it's,
ugh.
It's
okay.
just orangey mucus. Andy, you are free to go in, and I assume you're going to want to use intelligence.
I'm going to use intelligence, please. Let's see.
Okay, so for this secondary round, go ahead and give me your first.
Okay. Okay. 13?
Okay, second.
But be like floating upside down while you do it. You're just like twisting as you're doing it.
I use my like not real wings to waft away any other
Yeah.
poison. Okay, 19 plus 4 on the second one.
Great.
Okay.
Okay.
You
Don't
feel the first kind of click in, and it clicks. Everyone behind you hear the click and expecting poison, but nothing seems to match. Takes another few turns, and actually rather quickly, click again. Seems fine.
Okay, last one. Don't fuck me. 11 on the dice plus 4, right? So 15.
15 is going to be enough. I want to point out that you beat the first DC by the number.
Great.
Wow. Means
Great.
Almost instantly fucked yourself. But with the 3 successive checks relatively quickly, you hit the final one and you feel like a bigger kind of click, and you feel like resistance, so you turn and it begins to open like a vault door. As the door pulls away and you step back, kind of a flow of kind of dust and musty smell pours out. Everyone kind of rushes in behind, and you see a largely caved in space. Rock is just tumbled down directly up against where the door was. You see some rubble kind of spill out from within the door.
Okay, I'm not sure if this one was worth it.
Is it real?
Can I go up to it and press my hands on the rock?
There's rocks.
Is it?
Is there any way to like go underneath it or anything? See around it?
Pull some.
Go ahead and make an investigation or perception check at disadvantage, please.
Okay. First one.
Oh. Yeah.
13.
Yeah.
Bad for disadvantage.
You get down on the ground because it's like a heavy cave-in up top, but there is like kind of some lower levels that you can see, like rock is held up on a weird little spot, and you just creep up just to the edge, like not going in, but just underneath and trying to peer through. And even without dark vision, with the light that is coming from your group, you can see it does reflect off of something kind of crystalline or glassy. Not terribly deep in there. It is something you could probably reach. Maybe someone with longer arms would be better, but reachable. And you see another, what looks like a loot is not that far away from sight. So there's at least a couple things you can reach without delving too deeply in here.
My arms might be too small, but there is some shiny stuff in there.
Here, and I'll just like put down my staff. So in theory, you could use it to try to like, when you get something under a couch with a broom. Maybe you should put Ray in there. Maybe she can like get in and bring some light a little further in. Or I'll cast light on the end of my stick.
I'll allow Ray to make a check.
Sure. What kind of check do you want her to make?
Investigation or perception, straight roll.
Investigation or perception are both wisdom. She adds +2 to wisdom.
Investigation's intelligence, but still.
Okay. Oh, she rolled great. She rolled an 18 on the dice. +2 for wisdom or +1 for end.
As Andy lights the staff and you're able to go in and you scoop out what is it's a loot. It's a really beautiful looking loot. Actually, beautiful maybe is not the right word. Metal, fucking awesome looking loot is what it looks like. It's got one side of it is like an axe blade, and it's got strings, and it's like it's red wood that seems untouched by time. You pull it out, and you've got this pretty interesting battle loot. Deeper still, you reach in and grab and pull out what looks like a kind of a metal wrapped vial of water with a cap on one end and the kind of a sash or a string to hold it on your shoulder over your shoulder. Water sloshing within, seemingly crystalline in nature. And as you're kind of pulling yourself out after finding the two items you saw, Ray kind of lets out like kind of the Tinkerbell twinkle, and you duck back down, and you can see Ray is kind of like swirling, and you see her bobbing in between all these rocks. She seems to have found something, and is trying to get your attention. And as she kind of brings her light over to it and like circles around, kind of up on what looks like shelves were here that have been kind of crushed. A shelf is crushed down and pinning what looks like a dragon horn, like a Viking drinking horn, but like of dragon bone. It's like pinned up in the top corner that she's highlighting. It'll take an athletics check for someone to get in and kind of finagle the way to reach it. So not an easy poke with a stick, but not so challenging for your group to accomplish.
We can have Nettie do it. Nettie's good at squeezing in
Easy enough.
spaces.
Yeah, acrobatics or athletics.
I'm +3 athletics.
You'd be good too.
Yep, DeCrane, if Coulson, you want to go ahead and make an athletics check, please feel free.
Hit.
7.
Rock also.
Never mind, I take it back. I can in it.
You get stuck at about your waist.
Yeah, you get stuck, and it takes Enid
Well, I tried.
with a 19 to lively slip beneath your legs and hop in super easily, grabs it, and it comes out with a black and white horn curled like a classic Viking drinking horn. Immediately, Andy and Augustus, as you're kind of holding and touching these things, and Enid would also kind of recognize there is a faint tingle to the magical nature of these items.
Cool.
Okay, do we see like runes, like anything? Pulsing your face is in there. Any like thing that looks like maybe you should do some magic in that space?
Perception check.
Perception check, that's right.
$13.
As far as you can see, like there's not much more. There's not even any space, obviously, for you to get into this room. So Andy is bigger than all of you. Like it's not going to be really possible to get in this room. And it looks like this is a proper cave. Like this whole section, like the roof has collapsed. What you've gotten here is the extent of what will be reachable without like a full excavation. It doesn't look like there's any other signs of interesting magic to be done.
Kyle, was there another door? Was there a door on the opposite side of this door?
There was.
So we can always check that door.
Mm-hmm. You make your way over to the other side. It is unlocked and more of a mundane door.
Insight check.
Storage closet.
Doors, the ultimate.
Find some really, really moldy
23.
Great roll.
Insight check on the door.
It's not a mimic.
Okay.
It is a door. It does have a sinister nature.
Okay.
You stab it for good measure. You open it. It opens into what looks like a small, like potentially a dining chamber, a waiting chamber. It has a table, a bunch of dust, and unfortunately nothing more.
Okay. That was the two doors. I guess is the only thing we haven't checked. We checked out the spooky 8-sided die thing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
At
My
this
concern
point,
is
everything's been checked here.
Okay.
Yeah, my concerns are it's in a caved-in area. where we have to do this, or it was in this, like, whatever was covering the lava and shit and has since crumbled away.
We were told, Kyle, it was behind a waterfall, near the waterfall.
No, this is where we are.
It was in the cavern
we're in a
behind
space
the
behind the
waterfall.
waterfall.
And technically, we're in the cavern behind the waterfall right now.
You're in the mine. You're in the.
Oh.
You're significantly deeper.
So maybe it's closer to the entrance to where we came from.
Oh.
I'll remind you.
I just assumed because we were close to we saw the chains that we were in the general
Yeah, that's
area.
fair. Yeah.
This passage was closed off until recently.
So whoever was here before us wouldn't have been able to. Okay.
True.
Okay, well, let's get the fuck out of this hot room.
Yeah, I'm really hot.
As you guys begin to make your way above, you exit out of this room, crossing the chamber and crossing the bridge, Khazad-dûm style bridge, no railings.
Yeah.
Make your way back to the Make your way back to the processing chamber of the. You can see there are passages that go deeper down into other sections of mine, but I think light and fresh air are more interesting to you at this point than delving into a mine.
Just to
making
pause
your
you
way
for
back.
something I'm thinking about. Can I make a perception as we're going along to hear if there's still ruckus from like up top or anything like that?
Feel free. It's a disadvantage.
Also, if that creepy monster
That
that was
one.
covering the door. Nope, never mind.
Focused more purely on seeing sunlight and not dying. You guys
Stub
just
my
need
toe.
to get back up.
God damn it.
A point does come where you get through this processing chamber and you're kind of coming back up the staircase to the entry. And it was a relatively long stretch down before you hit this section. And you do all collectively pause using your passive perception. It's quiet. Slowly but surely you make your way up to the entry chamber, which is empty, open to sunlight beyond. Wait, is it sun? What time is it?
No, I thought it was getting close to like evening by the time we got here, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Still nice fresh air, a little moonlight.
It's cool. We'll go. Yeah, moonlight's probably right. Moonlight. It's cool. The creature who was the amalgam blocking, no sign of it. And I'll also point out, as you've been going along, focused in little other ways, the withering, the tendrils that were kind of writhing on the ground and leading you down here are beginning to wither and crack like dried pine. You come to the edge of where this amalgam was, and you look out on Brunder Kiln and the war camp that stretched between this kind of cavern entrance and the southern reaches of the town. The encampment is bare. The creature's gone. Brunder Kiln is a ghost town, save you 5.
Look up to the stars.
You can
Really
see
big breath.
Can I do an investigation? I want to see were there any signs of trauma or panic, or is there anything here to signal about the history of this place?
the history of this space here, like this entry chamber, or the war camp, how the creatures left.
That's a good question. Okay, I'm gonna change. I'm gonna go with the camp.
Okay. Yeah. Investigation. Investigation is probably the best choice here, but I would allow perception if you preferred, or survival even if you preferred. Any of those.
Let me see what my best one. I'll go with perception.
Go ahead.
+6.
Kev, you're just dying today.
7 and 6, 13.
You have disadvantage, unfortunately, so please roll again.
No, it's a smart question.
I got a 6.
Okay.
So it's
Great.
12. Yeah, you know what? Even on a 12, you make your way out into the war camp, and it's difficult to kind of track tracks with these creatures. Some of them just kind of shifted and rolled on the ground. You know, they didn't necessarily walk normally. But those that were inhabiting other bodies, what you find are the husks and of the other citizens that were here. the humanoid bodies, the creature bodies, the bestial bodies, are now just empty, fallen where they stood. As if the entities within vanished and what remained crumpled in mid-stride. Any sign of track that you see was walking when this happened ends, and there's not a secondary track to lead further. They all just vanish.
So weird. So this is an out of game, but I guess you're probably smart enough to think about this. They like celebrated, like they found what they were looking for, did what they wanted to do, and then have hightailed it out of here.
Or just disappeared.
Yeah.
Ceased to exist because their reason is done.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
This is that's a lot of bodies. That's a lot of lives ended.
Yeah.
It was easier to not think of them as actual people when they had the monsters in them.
I know we got to finish what we started here, but maybe we could take a little rest because I'm so tired and burnt at all ends.
Yeah, I mean,
I
we
agree.
might have learned our lesson from last time.
Coulson agrees, so
Are we talking
From what you,
or long rest?
that's a great question. Short or long?
I was thinking short so we could just, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Short, we could keep going, but long, we would get all our spells back.
I'll give you the
crucial.
inclination you're gathering right now as like, I'll give you guys like 10, 20, 30 minutes as you're kind of just like taking this in and just gather and like decompressing from what just happened. It's a ghost town. There's nothing really happening. The threat has left. So there's no
Just a
real,
mass grave.
yeah, there's no real element of threat here right now. If you did want to long rest, it just prolongs things a little longer, but it puts you on a safer path should things turn sideways with this ritual. But if you want to finish it tonight and be done and wake up with a fresh slate in the morning, also fair.
I say we long rest. I can't heal anyone.
Yeah, then
And
I
this-
get everything back. I like used like everything. So
Me too. And this thing kicked your butt last time, Andy.
Yeah, I was way lower health-wise than I am this time, but yes, I agree. And I'm also blown on my big spells.
And it could be stronger this time. It could be worse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we find like if it's a ghost town, just a home that has a roof or a store or something to shack
Didn't
up in?
we explode all the houses?
No, you only did a quarter of the town.
Yeah,
Okay.
come on. That was one small quarter of the town.
Just the section of the town that would have useful items for us, like the
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
You're actually not terribly far from going back to the church that you were in at one point, and in that area there's some other like businesses and homes that you could find comfortable lodging in without too much trouble. Maybe a little bit more time given the exhaustion of some of your party members, but before long, you find rest collectively, and we can all collectively click long rest.
Yay.
We love to do it.
It's been a long
Recover
time.
1 level of exhaustion during this rest. Requires food and drink.
You guys go ahead and take in some of your rations. Also, if you want to, we can go through. I imagine Andy would be willing to do the identification of the items, but it is late if you wanted to hold on to it, but I think it makes sense to do over the long rest. Great, then I'll do that quickly here. So first and foremost, a decanter of endless water.
This would have been so useful in this fight.
Would have been so
Yep.
cool.
It was put there with that. Decanter of endless water. Obviously, it creates a bunch of water. It can create a geyser of water, or at the very least, it can create drinkable water. Always has water. You can use it, I think, once a day.
There's a guy. Didn't Hondo have this last campaign?
Oh, you know he did. You know he did.
Yep.
You can choose fresh or salt water should you choose. And that's it. It can produce once a day that much water. The second item is the Scald's Battle Lute. It is it can be wielded as a battle axe. It's a +1 battle axe, and it also has some magical capabilities. It can be used as a spellcasting focus if you desire it. It does require attunement by a creature proficient with the lute. You can cast Lightning Bolt once a day through the battle lute with a save of 15. And you can inspire tenacity. As an action, you begin to play a rousing melody that inspires your allies to charge forward into battle with heroic resolve. Choose up to 3 creatures that can hear you within 30 feet for the next minute as long as you maintain concentration. These allies gain advantage on attack rolls and are immune to being frightened. If a creature was frightened when you inspire them, the effect ends on them. The frightened effect ends on them.
You know what's insane? I am attuned. I am proficient in lutes. I could take this fucking thing.
Yeah.
And I think, Kyle, it says you're proficient with this weapon while attuned to it.
Yep. You can wield it.
I just never imagined my bunny holding a guitar and just fucking blasting on it.
A guitar made out of an axe.
Oh,
But I think I am changing my entire character to
Wait, but
this
can
as my
you?
personality.
Can druids wield metal weapons?
I think it's more to keep them out of like manufactured armor, but magical items. I think they can also wield like scimitars. So like
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's fair to hold any of these conversations until Allie is back. I think Allie would also love
Allie could be dope with this.
Is she
That'd be sick.
proficient in the loot?
I thought so. I thought you both had
Oh,
lutes.
that'd be fun. That'd be pretty funny.
She's proficient with lyre, but a lyre is so close to a lute.
It's basically the same thing. We'll see. Anyways, there's a conversation.
She could
we
be
can have.
dope with that.
That would be pretty fun.
Don't tell her I said it was cool, because she will just give it to me if she knows that I said it was cool. So we'll see what she does.
You guys can have the conversations as you wish, but it is something you do find. And the last is a dragon vessel. It's just, you can search dragon vessel. It's a slumbering dragon vessel. As a bonus action, if the vessel is empty, you can speak the command word to fill the vessel with one of the following of your choice: ale, olive oil, a potion of healing, or a potion of climbing. Once you use this property, it can't be used until the next dawn. The potion you create in this way loses its magical properties if not used within 24 hours.
That's pretty cool.
Super handy.
So you have a once a day, always potion of healing, potion of climbing, olive oil if you're really weird, or ale if you're thirsty.
I mean, I use olive oil to cook anything, like just sizzle it up, some veggies.
That's pretty
Great.
cool.
Those can be found in D&D Beyond.
Scald's Battle Lute, decanter from the water. Those are so cool. I love magic.
A long rest attained by the party here. Sleeping in a little bit more, resting, and still weary for Decrane and Augustus, waking up still with a point of exhaustion, unfortunately. And I'll say as well, collectively, still exhausted, though not conditionally. This was a pretty harrowing series of events, and still, like, Enid is burned from her encounter with the kind of magma tendrils. Andy, you've been pushed to your limits. Coulson, you've not faced creatures like this in your lifetime, and a long lifetime you've had. This has been a very odd series of events for you. But you come out stronger.
Going to be the same again. What have you gotten him into? He's just living peacefully in his village, and then you had to fucking show up.
Living peacefully in his village among undead nightmare fuel.
I imagine you saying that whole speech while just sharpening your sword out loud.
I will, like, at some point, I think I would potentially start to broach the topic of, like, hey, like, that was really bad and crazy. This next thing's also going to be bad and crazy. Do you want to, like, stick around for more crazy, or are you, like, done with crazy?
Colson, you gotta stick around for this part. Ghosts happened last
Well, I got to
time.
see this till the end now. I'm not going to
It
come
was
all this
really-
way just to leave. I'm already
was really
forever
cool.
changed as a person.
Yeah,
You're
just
gonna love
pile
this
on the
part.
trauma. Just stack it up.
So, one thing still has to happen before anything continues. You still have to find the divining rod and the sigil circle to continue and begin the ritual before saying your, before finishing, hopefully, the ritual, completing it successfully, and bidding farewell to newfound friends and finding your way home. Let's start with seeking out the circle. Also point out that this requires the scroll, which you have
Mhm.
2 of.
No,
you gave.
yes,
I think you. Yeah.
You had 1 additional in case of emergency. Did you?
That's
use
right.
2?
Yes. No, we only used 1 last time.
So you have.
So we
2
have
in
2.
case of emergency.
Oh, I should roll my portents.
That too.
That was another reason to wait for another day. Is
Good call.
okay. Pretty good. Very good. Okay.
Just message them to me, please.
Yep.
Okay. So, making your way back towards the entry chamber to begin your search, unless you have something specific that you want to use to try and use magic to aid this search, I'll ask for an investigation check from the group.
I have to get within 30 feet, but I'll ritually. No, wait. Yes, I'll ritually cast detect magic at some point.
Okay.
Just it only lasts 10 minutes, but like when we get close.
I'll give you advantage on your investigation then.
My investigation is 0, so 10.
You also still
I
have.
thought you meant you rolled a 0.
No,
It's like-
10 plus 0.
You also unfortunately still have disadvantage, Kev and Scott.
So
Actually,
Yes.
A 4 for Coulson's not particularly helpful in this case.
11.
An 11 comes back to a 10 for DeCrane. It's a 13 from Enid.
Sorry, I was looking at all my spells. Investigation.
Yes, please.
11 is my
Six.
highest.
16 and a nat 20, so just 16. I had 0.
Okay. Wow. Look at D&D Beyond coming through for you.
We're friends now. We just need a long rest.
As you guys all begin to fan out into this room, it's relatively large, not particularly massive, but you know it's likely not towards the now open chamber. You've already experienced down that way. So you begin to focus your search kind of in the rest of the room. With detect magic up, you kind of are doing more, almost less of like actually looking and more just like feeling the latent arcane energy of the room. While Coulson and DeCrane, you guys are kind of sifting through the rubble. Enid and Augustus begin to pair off and look over on your own. And Augustus, you are able to spy something amongst the rubble at the back of this chamber towards the far left, almost in the exact opposite of the entry. You see the glitter of crystal amongst rubble. Collectively, you all begin to clear the surface of rubble, having elements of the roof has caved in here. There's been all kinds of erosion and destruction from within here over time. But after a few 10-15 minutes of clearing rock and rubble, you find a familiar circle of runes and sigils surrounding a melted husk of a former divining rod. With a little bit of tugging, you do manage to remove it and find the indentation to place your current rod within and reestablish connection to the divining network.
Can I just like put that ruined husk, try and tuck it into my bag, just have some evidence to show Immortal Man later?
Mhm.
Ruined rod. Before you do this, Andy, was it in checks you were making? Do you remember what checks you were making last time?
I think they were intelligence checks, but I truly don't remember. It was so long ago in real time. We could take a 5-minute break and go watch the game, but I truly don't remember.
Intelligence is what you'll be needing to make.
Okay, great.
So Augie is going to move towards you and put his little paw on your hand and be like,
You've got this. You've done it once before, and we're all going to be here protecting you. And I found a kind of like guitar that looks like an axe. It's pretty neat. I'm not going to use it yet because you're so smart. You're going to figure it out. And I'm going to cast Enhance Ability and give you advantage on intelligence checks.
Tight. Okay, thank you.
Actually, let me just make sure it's intelligence. You touch a creature. Ability checks. Yeah.
Okay.
I hate when you think it's one thing and then it's like saves and you're like, shit.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, everyone. This worked last time, so right before I can't remember how the order of operations is. At some point, when Ghost and shit come out, I'll activate my what is it called?
Oh, your spookiness?
Yeah, my celestial revelation. I can never remember it. The radiant consumption thing at some point, because that worked last time to like hurt shit that was right around me if anything's attacking me.
Can Gord use the, just in case, why not, the whetstone? Gord, fuck me. Can DeCrane use the, oh god. Can Coulson use the whetstone?
You're speaking completely different voices. You can't tell them apart.
I'm so sorry. You put so much into this voice too. Can Coulson use the whetstone to make his weapon magical?
If he wants to.
Let's do it.
Excellent.
As the preparations go underway, your katana is now magically imbued, should that come up. And the rest of you, Andy positions herself at the rod and at the site here. Are the rest of you kind of positioning yourself within 5, 10, 15, 30 feet?
At least 10 feet away from me, or you're going to take damage.
I'll pat your arm and I'll move back 15 feet. And then I'll just like give Ray a pat and I'm going to cast Wildfire Spirit to have her out for an hour.
Okay. Preparations made. Everyone takes position 15 feet, kind of circling Andy, kind of in the corner of this cavern as Andy withdraws the scroll.
Kev, could you put your shield down if you want to do that again? Like if we're all getting ready. Do you want to put your shield down with your gun? It's like,
Barricade fires in, echoes off the cavern walls. Gun at the ready. Andy.
Okay, I'll take out the scroll. Say goodbye to this dividing rod that I really like using.
I know, it was fun when I had one too. It was a good time.
I've had it for a long time now. I really enjoy it. Yeah, I'm trying to remember how long it takes to cast this spell.
I don't remember, but the point is, it's I kind of hand wave the time needed here. It doesn't really matter. It's just I'm not doing a true ritual. This is kind of using a spell ritual to initiate a non-spell ritual. You utter the incantation. You begin the process, but I do require you to make an intelligence saving throw to begin.
Mm-hmm.
It's of a spell you cannot cast, and you are trying to contact another plane of existence. Can your mind hold up?
Can you handle it, bro?
It's a 2 on the dice. I will be using a portent.
Nice.
Which one?
The 14.
What's the total?
Oh.
21.
Success.
Oh, man.
For a moment, as you begin and feel your mind connect to this dimension of fate and potential, and you begin to bridge this gap, as you feel the incantation uttered from beneath, you feel the scroll harness your arcane power, and for a moment it is all-consuming and bringing it in unison with the psionically inscribed runes of the divining rod. Your mind has connected with the spectrum of fate and destiny before, but it is incredibly difficult to prepare yourself for the barrage of power that instantaneously hits as soon as you finish the last word of the ritual. It flows through you as you finish the casting and become one with potential that intertwines every living soul across Vigil simultaneously. In the moment where you feel you're about to pass out and your mind is reeling, you summon up that element. Like, what do you think your portent in that moment is that helps you with this?
I think it's seeing all of the lines of fate and everything she's used to seeing, but like so much stronger. And it's almost like being able to like accidentally tumbling down the wrong path and then almost being able to like stepping outside herself and like pulling it like physically, that like celestial body version turning and like pulling herself her own arm to go in a different direction.
Very cool.
Side by side, before forming as one again, you dive headfirst into the plane of potential. As Andy finishes this moment of incantation, the rod bursts with pure white light. The entire room is awash in this purity that all of you need to shield your eyes from. The sigils in the stone circle alight with a rainbow of color, and the new divining rod takes root in the earth and in the unseen dimension that binds fate. A hurricane-force gale instantly fills the room, sourceless, whipping about in all directions. You're all outside of Andy, nearly knocked off your feet, though you hold, bracing yourselves for a quarrel, expecting some form of resistance. But none seems to come. Andy, the spectral dimension you cross into is overwhelming to your senses, but you forge onwards. You know the point here, you know your purpose, and you see a point in the storm, a center, a calm, and you will yourself towards it. Give me an intelligence check.
With advantage. Thank you. It's cocked. 13, the first one. 5, the second one. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 on the first one.
Not a save.
Oh, you're right. 17.
Okay, still success, but not a save.
Yeah, I know. I just made a save, so that's the number I was looking at.
It's fine. You're past it already. You're fine. I just wanted to clarify.
Mm.
You glide closer. You see this dark shape amidst the gleaming flurry of white. This entire space is a shock, is awash in purity of white light and this constant flurry of hurricane energy and sourceless force. And you charge forward with it, but you see this dark shape and you begin to move towards it. Another intelligence check.
Hey, I got a 13 again, but then I got a 19. 23.
Yeah, you're fine. You reach the side of the shape. You see it is humanoid, curled up in a ball. As you float beside it, it stirs and looks up at you. The form is like smoke. At the exterior, you see wisps are a flurry in the wind, but the core of the body is semi-stable. It's dark black. You can gather not entirely corporeal. Black wisps of gossamer hair trail and swirl around as the face rises to meet yours. You see no facial features necessarily, but a glimmer of sparkling energy provides feminine contours to the face and body. I needed another intelligence check from you. And what do you do in this moment?
I'm going to roll a check first.
Yep.
22.
Yep. Confidently, you've found connection.
I think I kneel down beside them. And do they, in the vague shape of face, does it look like pain? Like curled in a ball in pain or in fear? Is there any kind of like vibe we can read off of?
Give me an insight check. Give me an insight check. I'm going to give it, unfortunately. No, I'm not going to give it disadvantage. I'll set the DC relatively high, though. Okay. I'll frame it like that.
I roll a 16 on the dice, so it's 15.
It's really difficult to ascertain. Like I said, there's no direct facial features. Like you're seeing almost a black, almost starlight, kind of sparkling, glimmering face that gives off the contours of cheekbones, of chin, of just general kind of nape of the neck, and brow. But it's almost like a mannequin with the energy surrounding it. Like there's no immediate kind of face to glean information from. But you don't gather grimacing, you don't gather furrowed brows. Seemed like they were just curled up, not in like a fetal position, holding themselves, but just that was the comfortable position to be in, and now they've turned to kind of rise to meet you. A new thing in the space. Almost curious is probably the best way to put it with a 15.
I think I'd just default to like a shepherd meeting a person on the road. It just feels very... It feels weirdly comforting, I think. And it's just slipping into like very casual... Are you on your own journey here?
Just a tilt of the head, rises up. And there's not like ground here, you're kind of floating amorphous. So as you knelt down, you're just kind of like getting closer. And the form kind of begins to rise, and kind of you're now kind of encircling one another. And just like this curious, almost playful nature to the spirit, but doesn't seem to do anything more yet. Outside in the chamber, you all watch this brilliant white light burst and illuminate. And in this moment, 10, 15 seconds have passed and nothing has come yet. When you guys last did this, immediately there were creatures, forms of potential who rose to try and stop Andy from doing this ritual. So that's what you're preparing for. But yet nothing has come. 15 seconds, 20 seconds. At this point, you begin to see motes of white light and energy begin to rise from the rod and are swept up within the hurtling winds around you. You expect to, again, to like prepare to fight, looking for these things to take physical form, but they kind of remain in these kind of orb-like glowing orbs, balls floating around, swirling around the room. As they kind of come past and whiz past you, you're able to see that there is imagery, shape, some have sound, text caught within the energy. And as they whip past you faintly, you can make out various sounds and color elements, but nothing lingers for long before it's ripped away. The four of you outside of this experience Andy's having, is there anything the four of you do as this begins to kind of occur?
Can we see Andy in this? Is she just bathed in white? Is she like a silhouette?
You see her, you can still see her clearly, though, yes, certainly surrounded by the glimmer of her own radiant, revelating light and kind of intermingling with the multi-hued light of this ritual happening. Her hair is cast up and high. Her scarf and all of her like various cloth is rippling with the wind. But she seems complacent, kind of lost in this other world thing. Doesn't seem pained.
Can I do a perception check?
Sure. What are you trying to perceive?
Would I rather do an insight check? I just
What are you
wanna
trying
know,
to
like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Or try to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I'll allow perception, insight, or arcana. Your call.
We have given you zero explanation, I will say. Just like, hey, we gotta go do a weird magic thing.
No problem.
Well, I don't know. Me personally, I'm really bad with names. I feel like that part in Infinity War where Spider-Man's saving people, he's just like, I don't know your name. I'm sorry. Like, that's how I feel. Like, I'm like, what's your name again? All right, I'll do insight.
Sure.
5.
It's very confusing.
It's incredibly confusing. This is far beyond what you had been told by these people who told you basically nothing. And you're just watching this crazy shit happen. You were expecting a fight and are just prepared for that. But then I think even with a 5, you're reading quickly. Augustus, Enid, and DeCrane are a little bit surprised by this turn of events. Not turning into a fight. It doesn't seem aggressive. It seems like there's just these orbs are kind of floating around the room. You count about 10 are just kind of fluttering about the space. But I think your instinct would be follow their lead.
I've already seen an alien today, so this isn't like the weirdest thing I've seen today. So
yeah, it's pretty tame.
I'm just chilling.
I'll like move forward 5 more feet to that like 10-foot thing just to try and keep an eye on Andy. And I think Augustus thinks of calling out. Maybe a couple weeks ago he would have, but he can tell she's concentrating now, so he just kind of holds that back and then looks to Enid, but just remains vigilant.
The Crane, anything for you? Are you going to react to any of these motes of light and image and sound, or are you doing anything else?
I want to see if I can touch.
Cool.
Or like absorb, grab.
Absolutely.
Ooh, very cool.
I'm going to ask for a dexterity check.
Okay.
So straight D20 plus dexterity.
14.
Okay. Yeah, with a 14 plus your modifier, as you're prepared, you're set up in your kind of barricade, ready to fire. Seeing things have shifted, you kind of stand up, and as one flies by, instinctively you just go to catch and are able to grab hold of something physical. Roll me a D10.
Ooh, sick.
A 3.
Okay. You grab hold of this mote, of this orb of energy, and you're not even sure exactly what you're expecting to touch here, but you go for it. Instantly, as you touch it, a white flash across your eyes, and you see a vision. You are given a vision of potential future prophecy. A royal purple spider scurries along the edges of a massive, intricate web. One of the web's central anchors seems to be pulling away or failing, and it frantically spins more web, trying to repair this failing anchor, just as you see the next begin to falter and give way. As the spider repairs this anchor and is making its way to the next, it snaps and a massive crack rings out. The spider, this royal purple spider, looks up and rocks are careening from above towards its carefully crafted home and is torn asunder, the spider buried with it. You are thrust back out of the light, and the mote that you had just kind of fizzles away into this faint kind of purple and white light that you see just kind of linger around your hand where you touched it. That takes you out for this moment. Like that took you away for a second. Augustus, Coulson, and Enid you would have noticed this. Like it would have been something very obvious because there would have been a bit of a clear reaction, and then DeCrane is kind of stunned in this moment. But I think it would be clear it's not a pain stun, it is a experiential thing. So we're going to come back to you guys in a second.
Okay.
You guys are good. I'm going to come back to you guys in a second. Andy, inside the storm of potential, the form rises, and as it's spinning around you, the two of you kind of spiraling around one of each other. She's observing you from all angles. A trail of this kind of twinkling energy begins to kind of come off of her form like a comet before it stops to face you once more. And you've been asking kind of questions, and she's playful and kind of head back and forth. But it recognizes you don't have like the divining rod necessarily, but there's like a force that you're trailing along like a string almost, like you're trailing along to connect the divining rod. And there's like a physical representation of like, I need to close the loop. And it reaches out and grabs your hands within theirs. And as soon as it does, the storm instantly stops and freezes around you. The energy wisps trailing from her fingers, hair, and clothes freeze, frozen in time, same everything around you. Hair caught in a frozen moment, just staring directly into your face. Dire now. I need another intelligence check from you.
19.
Another success. Outside, the flurry of wind picks up to a fever pitch. The 10-foot gap from Andy now is buffeting you and pushing you back, Augustus. You can feel it is now too hard to get close to her. But all around you see these motes of energy and light continue their procession around all of you. Outside, are any of you guys doing anything more?
I think I would be focused on Andy. I'm just trying to like stay keeping eyes on her in case she needs help.
It's difficult to see through to her at this point, especially with your exhausted perception, so to speak.
Kind of tempted for Enid to do one of these visions, or if someone else wants to do one of these visions.
I think, in fairness, we know Allie. She's going to touch something if she can.
Let's have Enid do it. I want her to get a vision.
Let's see. That's a natural 2. She reaches out, leaps, and tries to grasp it and just can't grasp hold of it and just trying to jump and catch, but they are flying too fast, too quick.
Coulson, do you want to catch a vision, or DeCrane, do you want to try and catch another one? Coulson's a no. DeCrane is a yes.
DeCrane's, your hand whips out for another. Go ahead and make a dexterity check.
12 plus 4, 16.
Success. Roll the d10 for me. If you get a 3 again, re-roll.
A 1.
A 1. You see the fall of a knight, armor-clad and heroic in a darkened forest. He falls to his knees. He's weeping. He howls, draws his sword, and plunges it into his gut. Blood pours forth, brilliant crimson, seeping through rock and root. The vision's eyes, for lack of a better word, trails and follows the path of the blood as it pools, continually seeping into a pool of crimson, before a new hand touches the surface of the blood. The faint tap in the vision closes.
Whoa.
Back inside, unless Augustus wishes to change his path.
No.
This form of potential before you, this woman, female, feminine form made physical, grasping your hand, looking at you with no eyes, yet you feel an intense gaze, nevertheless, Andy. She speaks, and the voice you hear shifts first from your mother's voice, then Teresa's voice, then each new word and line shifting between the members of your own party, your own voice, other members of the shepherds, people you've come to pass in passing in towns across your life. Every word seems to shift, male and female, different voices. Andromeda. The cradle cracks. The sins of heroes born anew. The slumbering horde awakens. The veil splinters and shatters. The house is aflame. The cradle is weeping. Howling skies return. A last moment for the rest of you on the exterior. Do you wish to try and grab any more of these motes of energy in this failing, faint seconds? DeCrane, do you go for a third? Enid is going.
One.
She hasn't caught one yet.
Come on,
12.
Enid.
A 12 gets one.
Good.
Scott, roll a d10 for me.
You got it.
Kev, are you going for another one?
Yeah, I'm going.
Go for it.
9.
No.
19.
And a 19 definitely gets you. Go ahead and roll a d10 for me. Rerolling 1, 3, 9.
10.
10. Right, I'll go right in order. 9, 10. Enid leaps and grasps hold of one, squishing it in her hands, and instantly this flash of energy and light. And she sees herself treading through dunes of glittering sand. Lightning cracks through the burning skies above, and she looks high to see a series of gaping triangular holes in the atmosphere. Howling and roaring of monsters behind sends her whirling to see red lightning bursting overhead, illuminating a horde of monstrosities and nightmares that fill this desert. Another bolt of lightning strikes mere feet in front of her. She shields herself from the molten sand thrown her way. As she peers through her shielded hands and fingers, a triangular doorway of quivering energy stands before her. The ground rumbles beneath, as she's not the only one to have seen the doorway. DeCrane, in this third and final grasp, your hand reaches out, and you touch hold of a mote. You float amidst the night sky, brilliant blue, purples, and black, dotted by thousands of twinkling stars, shifting celestial bodies. A space you've seen previously, but not for a long time. It is beautiful before you. You spin and turn to see more, but behind you lays an empty gray. Floating chunks of gray stone float lazily in the void. There's no sound, no life, no stars. A graveyard in the celestial form. Behind you now you hear a wet, squelching, crunching sound, like bony meat masticated by blunt teeth. You dare not look back, but you have no choice. As you begin to turn just ever so slightly, darkness consumes you, mouth, teeth, tentacles, eyes, all-encompassing void, and nothing follows. Andy, the vision, the warning of this figure continues. Kings bleed crimson, turned black, cadence and rhythm, off-key, foundation crumbled to ash, forge relit, but a sea, the sentry's guard let down, and dreams slumbered too deep. Black curtains devour all. She grips you and pulls you ever tight. Andromeda, beware the night stars fall. And in that moment, you are thrust from this space. The ritual completes. All of you are thrown back 10, 15 feet, stumbling and falling. The divining rod takes hold. The divining network renewed. I will now drop all of the shit that I said into this chat.
Thank you.
Excellent. The cradle cracks.
A lot of stuff.
A lot of spooky stuff.
So what are you guys doing?
Oh. Andy, you okay?
I crawl to my feet.
Yeah, I'm right. Did you guys fight the things again?
No ghosts, just spooky lights.
Okay. Okay, yeah, it's different. But I think it's up. I think it's working. I think we did what we came here for.
Does that mean we can go home? Or at least back to the Immortal Man?
I think so, yeah. I'm not sure I have a way to check, but it feels right. It feels okay. It feels like things are up.
The visions I have, it seems like doom is following us.
Visions?
It's coming. Those
What kind of-
those flashes of light, were you able to grab any of them?
I didn't see any flashes of light, honestly. It's like, there was a woman-ish, something. But it just with a very foreboding warning. No more visions. I've seen plenty, but no more. Just now, you had visions of what?
I was given 3 warnings, basically. I saw a purple spider, which I believe to signify some kind of royal figure, trying to build a web, but every time it made a move, it seemed the web would collapse. Then there was a knight that stabbed itself. I'm guessing to alleviate some kind of shame or pain. And then the final one was just gray stones in space. I don't know what it means, but I don't feel good about it.
I mean, the web. We don't have to get into it all right now. We have time before we're traveling, but I mean, the web could be the network. We've just repaired it, but who knows for how long?
I'm guessing it's not going to last long if that's what it is.
And I mean, the last thing, the void, that just kind of sounds like everything that weird flat face guy was telling us.
The Herald.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to give him the dignity of a name, given what he's threatening or warning about.
We could be like spider people protecting the web.
kind of Spider-Verse.
Making sure it doesn't implode on itself. I mean, all this talk about doom and fate, things ending. We're 2 for 2. Fate's got nothing on us.
I mean, we did these things, but it sounded like I thought we stopped something there in that cavern. I mean, we closed the portals, but he didn't seem that concerned.
And he was definitely talking about the Ashen Wastes is where he's hanging out, right?
Yeah, it's definitely the Ashen Waste. Yeah, that's 100% where it is.
Look, this is just, between us 4 and then our new friend Coulson. Coulson, I'm sure this is all blowing your mind right now. We met this guy. His name's the Immortal Man. He invited us to his secret club. But
we're definitely not supposed to talk about that. But
I didn't. I said secret club. I didn't say what it does. It's really cool, by the way. But Herald guy said, we're being used to do this. And I mean, I trust Ludomir more than Herald guy because, look around, yuck. But we don't really know what tangled web we've stumbled into as well.
I'm not also entirely sure, like he said there's been predecessors, but that we look different, they're of a different color. That place, the thing that was down in the lava, that's definitely tied to things we've seen before. That Watcher group, what if he was expecting one of them? And that's who we thought we were? It could be that he's misinformed or they're misinformed on what it is we were there to do.
Well, Ludomir even said, you're not the only ones in this. Again, not saying the secret name of the group, but the secret club that we were elected to join. Ludomir said we weren't the only ones. He said there were others in the past. Maybe he thought there was some of them?
But this is all sealed off.
Oh, by the way,
well.
Coulson, please don't tell anyone that I said the name Ludomir. I really shouldn't have said that name out loud.
That was probably...
So you can keep to yourself that the Immortal Man's name is Ludomir. Don't try and repeat that.
Your secret is safe with me.
Secret is safe with my indifference.
I just think I would love some answers when we get back to...
maybe now that this network's up, I don't know, I'm pretty good with these things. Rather than taking their word for it, maybe I could take a look at it. If we're concerned. I'm not sure that I am. I'm not sure if... He said he was watching us, but we don't know what that means, and we don't know who those predecessors were, but it sounds like it was long before the Immortal Man. That thing was really solidly sealed off. I don't know, we have days. We have days to look into it. I'll try to read more in this book. It seems like there might be something else that I'm missing here. But this all seems bad. I'm not gonna lie. All of the visions leading up to this, everything that thing said, that person said, it all seems pretty horrible, and very much in line with things I've seen since I was a teenager. So,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's good or bad. I did kind of want to use this whole mishap as an opportunity to look into this more and try to see what it is these visions are trying to tell me, and now I'm not sure I want to know.
But you just flew today. That was
pretty cool.
So cool.
Yeah, that was new. That was something my kind of tutor told me. She told me it was possible, but I'd never done it before. It was pretty cool.
The Crane has shot his gun more times in the last couple of days than I'm sure I actually don't want to speak for him. But you got a cool shield. I can feel that the more we do these things together, the more whatever magic's flowing through me is getting stronger. It just feels like we're getting better at this, right?
We definitely are. Do you remember how we almost got beat up by an Ursa? Oh my gosh, Ursula. We need to find a way to get in touch with Ursa.
Yes. And Captain Verglass, though I'd prefer if Enid didn't get too familiar with him. They seem to have a weird connection.
I would.
Yeah,
hope
we
that
need to
we're
warn
continuing
people.
to.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we don't get worse. We've
could.
improved. Yeah.
I feel exhausted at times, and it might get worse. We've got to be on our toes here.
Well, I can say I don't think any of us would have managed anything the last few days without Coulson.
Coulson, you were clutch with your katana and attaching a chain to it and swinging it around your head.
That was wild.
He's our agent of chaos, for sure.
What are you going to do now, Coulson? Are you going to try to find the survivors? Put this place to rest?
I really don't know. It's been a hell of a day.
Just you leaning on your katana.
It's been a fucked up day. I mean, like, what if our group name is something like the worst in class, or like some sort of like there was other classes, there's other groups. Just trying to come up with something like that.
About how bad we are at things.
I really wanted, like, when the spooky Herald guy was saying something, I was like, I'm gonna hit him with a zinger. Like, I was gonna be like, yeah, well, we're the Fate Breakers, but it just felt too forced. Like, I was really trying to work it in, so I didn't say anything.
Well, I think we have some. We have what, a week of travel? More than that?
Yeah.
You guys will have about 2 weeks to get back to Karden.
2 weeks.
Great.
I was thinking the fast 5 at one point, but we have time. Nettie, you should start strumming on this lute on the 2 weeks as we go back.
Oh, hell yeah!
Sounds awful.
It's you're getting better.
Just starts going at it like just no technique. Got very grunge punk vibes to it though, but it's very fitting. I will point out a reminder element of the intent for your return journey. Ludomir was planning to meet you at the Draken Tunnel and expedite your journey home. So you only need to go about 5 days to get to there. You guys have kind of beat your timeline. You expedited a lot of travel through the Underdark. So you're ahead by like a day or two, not terribly, but enough that hopefully the timing will work out nicely for this. You should be able to about 4 or 5 days to there. And line up meeting them there, who will then safely expedite you home via more fancy versions of travel. So it'll be a lot more comfortable and won't have to worry about that. But that was kind of like way back. That was the intention. The plan was for them to meet you once you had completed your task.
You know what I just realized? There's 5 of us. I'm trying to think of like a cool name. You know what shape is also 5 points?
Oh,
it's a sign.
wrong campaign, Brock.
Yeah.
Your gourd is
My
showing.
mind needs to go back to gourd.
Go watch campaign 1, everybody.
You'll love it.
Forgive the first 9 episodes.
Yeah, just skip past. I mean, just first 5. It gets good there. Then why don't we start making our way out of town?
If there's nothing left here in Brunderkiln, then there's truly nothing much left in Brunderkiln for anyone. Eventually, collectively, the 5 of you are able to get out of Brunderkiln, not having to worry about, you have to get over the expanse, but that is much easier now that you don't have to worry about doing so under the cover of night, not being seen by creatures, taking as much time as you need to do so. You take your leave to the east and head east of the city and travel probably for about the better part of half today to get to a main road that will travel north-south. It is a road that will take you up to the Draken Tunnel to the north for those of you headed to Karden, And for Coulson, a choice. If you intend to head south to further Ironhome and to kind of the greater Ironhome world, this is the road to lead south. There are some settlements to the north here. If you wanted to go and remain in Ironhome but find some other settlements, or there's a whole world to explore. I leave it to this point to be your collective kind of goodbye, and then the choices that Coulson wants to make for his near future. What's the plan?
You also don't have to decide now if you don't want to.
No, you have to decide.
Can I think it over? Jeez.
No.
Pressure.
That's D&D. Time.
I want to see this thing to the end. I just see an alien and then like turn back.
It can be a wild experience to see one. To stick around is a pretty drastic choice. And then in that case, the group heads north to the Draken Tunnel, and we'll see you there next time.
We hunt at dawn.
What are we hunting? What?
So good, so spooky. I didn't like that guy.